And this is a leading edge solution that solves the problem of I want to know as soon as something happens in the PMS, a business event. Tell me when a reservation is created. Tell me when a reservation is updated. Tell me when a check-in happens. Tell me when a profile changes. Tell me when a checkout happens.
All right, Lewis. Wanted to talk about Oracle Hospitality Integration Platform, OHIP. I think it's a couple years old now, right?
Hello, baby. Well, yes, 2 years old. That's right.
Yeah. There's a lot of buzz around it, and rightfully so. I'm from the from the CRS world where integrations were, paramount and a big pain. It was painful to make those integrations go. So that was big news, and I just think it's worthy to catch up with you and find out where OHIP is at these days. But maybe we want to start with if you want to articulate in your own words, the initial problem that Oracle wanted to solve.
Absolutely. So with OHIP, we are centralizing, consolidating, and streamlining all of the integration capabilities and processes that we supported in the past through multiple protocols and approaches, and now it's simplified much, much more. It's night and day compared to how we used to do things in the past. Basically, we created a platform from the ground up to be cloud native, but to also embrace the cloud native processes, which we know are different to how we did things on premise, for example. The platform solves many problems, right? CRSs and PMSs connectivity needs are plentiful, right? More than we can talk in 10 minutes. But to put it in simple terms, if the PMS and the CRS together are the heart of hospitality operations, think of OHIP as the veins. It supports that connectivity into the heart. Without heart, there is no human. Without veins, there is no heart. So OHIP is enabling that interface into the heart of hospitality, which is the main hospitality systems. That's in a short what it is.
Yeah, and anecdotally, or just can you help people understand why this approach is different? Why is it quicker? Why is it easier?
That's a very good question. So if you look at the journey to integrate, especially if you compare ourselves with ourselves, in the past there was a very lengthy process to integrate. In fact, there is a metric. It's called time to first API call. So in the past, you had to fill a form, engage with some sort of consulting services, right? Then you had to get access to an environment. But before you get access to the environment, you have to understand which of the different interface capabilities we had available was more appropriate for you, right? And all that, through all those steps, it could take anything from 3 months to 6 months. I even heard from a vendor when I was starting in this role, 2 years, and many startups really didn't even try. When we launched OHIP, startups loved it. There were like for the first time, startups were able to easily integrate with Oracle Hospitality. For many startups, it was actually the first time that we're able to integrate with Opera Cloud. And the reason being is that we lower the complexity barrier. You can go to shop.oracle.com, register to access the Oracle Hospitality Integration Platform. You don't need to be an Oracle Partner Network official partner to get access to the platform. You don't need to pay, anything really to get access to OHIP. It's free to access, and then you get immediate access to a sandbox and a community, a vibrant community that already has over 2,500 developers to get help when trying to use our APIs for different use cases. So from 3, 6 months or more, it would take to even start building the integration. Now it takes a few hours, a couple of hours to get the access and maybe ask a few questions, and then you start to do it. But it's also the tools that we're using to enable that speed to market. It's like cooking. When you are going to cook a recipe, unless you're a professional chef and you make your own recipes, what do? You find a recipe that you like. So what we've done is we invested heavily in documented recipes using Postman, which is a very common tool in the API world. And these recipes really streamline time it takes to understand what API to use to implement check-in, checkout, upsell, revenue integration, the shopping book, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So not only we open up the platform, not only we simplify the approach to get access to the platform and start calling our APIs. Not only we created a community where vendors can ask questions and we don't charge for that, but in addition, we invested in recipes, so you don't have to spend time browsing through our 3,000 APIs to figure out which API to use to implement check-in. It's all done for you. So again, night and day. There's
2,500 developers.
Yes.
So there's a lot of activity on OHIP.
We have about 200 to 300 active developers. It's not just developers, just to clarify. We have different personas, but yes, people building things is the most common persona, but we have about 200, 300 active people at any given point in time in the community. And we have a team dedicated to helping that community.
That's huge. Well, what about what's the latest? What's the latest features you're rolling out?
Yeah. So I mean, we at the beginning we solved the most basic problem, which is I want to really integrate with Opera Cloud. I want to use the capabilities of Opera Cloud. Tick that box. Now it's easier. Now it's quicker. All good is what I said earlier. Then as you mature the platform and you think about what are the next big problems that our customers are going to have. One common problem is access to a lot of data, bulk data. So OHIP by design traditionally uses only REST APIs, which is it's a technology protocol which is great, it's common, it's open, but it's very chatty. It's not really suitable to say, give me all the reservations and all the folios for the last 2 years and whatever future reservations you have. The APIs are not meant for that. So we are working on releasing a new set of what we call data extract APIs based on the most modern technology you have in the API space. It's called GraphQL. It was actually open sourced by Facebook around 2015, and now you see the likes of Netflix, GitHub, everyone is using this technology. So we're adopting this technology along with streaming capabilities to be able to enable access to bulk data on demand by APIs. That's a very top-notch project that we're working on, and we're planning to release towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. We launched around a while ago, probably about 6-7 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, streaming capability, but it wasn't available to everyone because you have to have access to a specific version of Opera Cloud. So really the uptake of this capability started, I would say, around 3 months ago. And this is a leading edge solution that solved the problem of, I want to know as soon as something happens in the PMS, a business event. Tell me when a reservation is created. Tell me when a reservation is updated. Tell me when a check-in happens. Tell me when a profile changes. Tell me when a checkout happens. And obviously, in our ecosystem, in the hospitality ecosystem, this information is needed for many, many, many use cases. So streaming enables, these sort of capabilities. So you get a push notification whenever a business event occurs in Opera Cloud, so you don't have to come and pull for it, which is not efficient. I want to emphasize that this is true streaming. Streaming can be a buzzword, but true streaming gives you more capabilities, like, for example, the ability to play back events. So let's say, for example, your system went down for whatever reason, or there was a connectivity glitch, which happens. You're able to play back events that occur in the last hour or 3 hours or 1 day. We support up to 7 days. So you can play back up to 7 days. And this is extremely fast. I think the maximum throughput we've seen is about 900 events per second. So it's really cool technology. And obviously, we're doing these things to solve, as I said, more interesting problems that we're seeing now that the platform is maturing. But I would say the coolest innovation we're working on is around conversational AI. Obviously, ChatGPT, BERT, Hugging Face, that's kind of like it's it's an inflection point in society and in technology, I would say. And we don't want to miss this wave. So we've actually partnered. There's a startup called Poly API. I don't know if you've heard of them, but you should check them out. What they do for us is they AI enable our APIs. Okay, and just taking a step back, not every API it's really ready for AI. The billing model is different actually. If ChatGPT is calling your API, you need to pay for tokens based on the calls they are making. So you really need to make sure your APIs are optimized for AI. And that doesn't happen overnight. We have over 3,000 APIs. I'm not going to rewrite all of them. So we are partnering and innovating, such as, we can immediately make our APIs available to AI, which in turn helps our customers of Opera Cloud and OHIP, because then, their APIs, because ultimately they are the ones buying our product, right, and using our APIs, also become available to AI. So that's something that I'm super excited about. I mean, it reminds me when I started getting excited about APIs, like, I don't know, I had hair long time ago, right? But is that kind of feeling that we're only scratching the surface, but that this is moving so fast that if you're not keeping up to pace, right, and understanding what's going on and getting really into the nitty-gritty and the details, very fast you kind of become outdated. So that's another area that I would say I'm investing a good portion of my time, learning, but also making sure that we can put it into practice in my platform, so our customers benefit from this innovation too.
Yeah. Well, those are super exciting updates, Lewis. Like, wow, it's like a lot to look forward to in the coming months, from Oracle. I mean, thanks for joining me. Thanks for spending time with me.
Anytime. I mean, in 6 months we'll probably have more to talk about as well. So up to you.
It's a date.